Wow, everybody. It's February 2024, and the wild, wild ride is just about to begin. Now, you've seen some craziness in the last few years, but I really think this is the tip of the iceberg. And brace yourself, humanity. The next few years is going to be revelation after revelation after revelation. I have no idea if we're going to handle it, how we're going to handle it, how that's going to go. But we're going to be beset with more problems than a science fiction movie. Between all the technologies, all of the aliens, all of the underground bases, the wild card of the human spacefaring groups, and a Jedi Council, like the next few years are not going to be boring, but we are rolling the dice to decide the fate of Earth. And it's an exciting time to be around. So brace yourself, humanity. Here comes the mess. Now, you are watching conspiracy after conspiracy be proven correct. And there are some incredible researchers out there discovering exactly what people are trying to hide from us. People, I say people. And as you watch those come true, I want you to think for a minute about the conspiracies you haven't heard of yet. Now, I'm sure that some or many of you have heard of the Cabal, otherwise known as the Khazarian Mafia, also known as the Abraxus group, also known as the 13 families. Well, let me tell you why it's going to get really wild. You see, these guys, I'm going to call them the 13 families, or maybe the Abraxus group. You see, these 13 families claim that there's something special about their blood and something to do with Jesus, the Son of God, right? They think that they've still got Jesus's blood in them. And they're a little bit obsessed with maintaining that DNA, which leads to a little bit of inbreeding. God bless them. And these guys have presented themselves to the rest of the galaxy as the custodians of Earth, as the primarchs or the leaders of Earth. And they're telling us another story because we don't like feudalism. We made that pretty clear with the French Revolution. And so ever since then, they've had political puppets come and go who are doing the bidding of the Abraxas group. And there's a lot of good conspiracy research. I don't even know why we call it conspiracy anymore, but there's a lot of good conspiracy research on that topic, on elections, how our leaders are selected and not elected. And this selecting group, the Abraxas group, has made deals with dozens of different alien species. We're just now, our groups are just now starting to comb through some of the alliances they've made. And I'll explain it to you really, really simply. They sold us out. Now, what's going to happen in the next few years is that Abraxas group is going to be deposed. And then we're going to have to clean up we're going to be introduced to the galaxy, and we're going to have to clean up the mess they made. Or hopefully we can clean up the mess we made. So in the next little while, Abraxas group is going to disappear. And that creates a few problems because all of the alliances and deals they've made with all kinds of alien species are going to have to be rewritten. Those contracts have to be renegotiated. And I don't know if our counterparts, if the other alien species are really going to let that happen. It's going to get really wild, and humanity is going to have trouble enough with disclosure, just the fact that there are aliens. And, you know, like for a while, people are going to run around with their hair on fire and freak out. But let's get down to brass tacks. Who are our real friends and who are not? And what are we going to do about the guys who are not, who the Abraxas group is selling humanity to? Now, there's this phenomenon, right, since World War II. It's like 80 years ago since it ended. And for that time, the West has enjoyed uninterrupted prosperity for 80 years, technological advancement and more production for 80 years straight. And that is incredible amounts of wealth, incredible amounts of wealth. Where is it? Why are we all in debt? What is happening here? And I just want to remind you how dedicated they are to keeping that secret, because Donald Rumsfeld had to stand in front of Congress on September 10, 2001, and say he lost 2.3 trillion. The very next day, the Twin Towers blew up, and that was a media blitz. That was all forgotten. The deep state stealing trillions of dollars from us, totally ignored. That's how dedicated they are of changing the subject of public discourse. Don't forget it. But what did that wealth go into? And if you ask a researcher, Richard Dolan, he's one of the primary researchers in ufology, and his thesis is this, that you may remember what Roswell, where they crashed an alien craft, and there were photographs of the living ones and the dead ones in the newspaper the next day. And then the day after that, the military said it never happened. Well, that technology has been back engineered, and we've also traded with other species for other technologies to create spaceships. Those spaceships have been used to explore not just our solar system, but I think the galaxy at large in secret. These are known as secret space programs. My intel is that there are 9 of them. There are 9 of the bloody things. And when the Abraxas group falls, we're going to have to come to terms with 9 different spacefaring factions who may not actually like us. Some of them definitely don't. Now, of those factions, I am very certain that some of them are different departments in the US military. I'm sure that other countries have them. One of them we know is the international corporate conglomerate. And the weirdest one, the one we're going to have stretch our minds the most to get used to, is the Nazis. Apparently, after World War II, the Nazis fled to Antarctica. Admiral Byrd was sent from the US to destroy them, and he lost not 1 but 2 battles. And after that, the Nazis flew their spaceships over the White House just to assert their dominance, just so they knew who they were messing with. Do that research. It's really, really interesting. But what it means is not only do we have to deal with new alien species, the fact that there are 9 factions of spacefaring Earthlings who probably don't want us to know about them and probably have some dirty secrets as well. Their morality and their activities are fairly unknown to us. And the third one is the underground base network. You see a lot of this wealth that the surface has generated over 80 years of unrestricted prosperity has gone into building an underground base complex. And I believe there is a network of trains that bounce all over the globe. Some of those bases are Earthling, some of them are alien allied, some of those are alien hostile, some of those are alien isolated. Like, there is so much going on here that we have no clue about. So brace yourself, humanity. In the next few years, we'll be dealing with massive disclosure, dealing with our own nefarious space programs, and all of the species who live underground. And I think there's quite a few. We are going into a world of not just science fiction, where technology is going to ramp up at a speed unfathomable. One of those key technologies is going to be magic. Magic and understanding how physics and metaphysics work is going to be one of the key reveals of this era. And to my understanding, there are 2 technologies that the aliens and the undergrounders and the spacefarers are all obsessed with. And they are biology, and specifically the DNA of Earth humans. The number of groups who are harvesting DNA from this planet is ridiculous. We are finding heaps of them. So your DNA is a commodity that is being sought after across the galaxy. So much so that delegation after delegation is sent here to catch it. That's what our teams are finding. And the Abraxas group is selling it to them. They're selling probably not anybody you personally know, but other human beings to them for this purpose. And the other technology that they are obsessed with is consciousness. How to manipulate consciousness, how to embed consciousness, how to, like, everything about how we think and why we think and what we think. And if you have been paying attention to AI, that's all it's obsessed with. That's the topic that AI is being set upon. That is the question that it's been given. How do we make people think what we want them to think? Not joking at all. Those are the applications that AI is being used for. Not for economic efficiency, like as you might expect, not for learning, not for making our lives better, but all of it, the application that AI has been used for is how to manipulate humanity. My point is, they're not doing it to help us. Now, this is grim and big because we are probably the smallest of all the players in this game. We are probably the least powerful of all the players in this game. However, our teams function as a Jedi Council. Like, I say Jedi Council because, not because I want a lightsaber, I want to wear funky cloaks, but because there just doesn't seem to be anybody else sticking up for humanity. There doesn't seem to be another group who is willing to militarily risk themselves to remove a program of manipulation for Earthlings. Our Jedi Council works hard constantly. We're doing 4 or 5 missions a week at least, each of them to remove one more layer of manipulation to humanity, one more con on humanity each week. Now, we had some very, very big victories last week in that we killed the demon lord of alcohol. All of that to one side, our astral projection teams have made several discoveries, and not just discoveries, but we've been actors in this scenario. And what we found is that there is a galactic AI that is the master of all of the demons, the reptilians, the greys, and the mantoids. And those are the 3 major alien factions who are here to make war on humanity. And the demons have been here for a very, very long time. But they are, again, the servants of a galactic AI. So the difference between a natural biological world and an artificial digital world is very, very real. That monster has had the ambition to absorb or annex Earth into its empire. Now, the reason why everybody's obsessed with our DNA is because the Earth human is a very, very powerful biological tool. I even believe it was created specifically to shut down that world devourer galactic monster, this AI. Now, our team surprised itself even when we gave it a whack. It uses this stuff called black cube technology, which is a dominance technology that it projects to Earth to create a sphere of dominance. It uses authority, finance, and law as its key tools to advance its interests. And if you think for 15 seconds, you'll realize that the Abraxus group hide behind those 3 things: authority, finance, and law, to do all of the nefarious deeds that they like. Now, we took down, we followed that and we backtracked it to the AI Central, and we were able to pollute that manipulation technology so it no longer functioned to manipulate. And the AI's response was very interesting because when that happened, it clicked, I can't win this war anymore. It amputated 90% of its mass, and the core intelligence, the key intelligence, retreated to a part of reality that our team is a little bit shy to follow them to. Like, it's the metaphysics are very different, and we don't know how to handle that yet. But we're at a stage now where the demons, we managed to kill an entire species of demon, the one to do with alcoholism. We ran off a one to do with greed. It left the planet this week. But what it means, these victories are the first of the kind since Solomon. And we can continue them and push demon kind off planet, which is untalked about in the spiritual milieu because it's not positive. Everybody's stuck on positivity, but actually positivity is not going to get us out of this mess. We have to fight. And humanity's sovereignty requires us to fight. We're not going to get sovereignty without a fight. Our Jedi Council is performing in that fight. I don't know if we're leading that fight, but I don't hear very many other people working on this topic at all. There's nobody in this field. And so all of that wildness to one side. The key point of all of this manipulation is to stop humanity from realizing what it is, which is probably the most powerful biological machine in the galaxy right now. And as far as I can tell, our team and a few others floating around, like individual small groups, I'm not sure. I don't know who they are. I do see their handiwork sometimes, but they're out there. Only a handful of people know it and use the fact, use the content. Only a handful of people know how powerful we are and use that power to further humanity's interests. And I just want you to know that our Jedi team is leading the charge on that. I'd like to believe we're leading. I haven't found any other groups who are doing anything else. If there was a group who's doing a better job than us, I'd join them. So know that the way out of this trap that's been set for humanity is one, that fight our way out, and the nature is consciousness-based, and you have a Jedi team of very, very, very talented astral projectors to clear a way for the rest of humanity to evade its capture. And brace yourself, humanity. The next few years is going to be revelation after revelation after revelation. I have no idea if we're going to handle it, how we're going to handle it, how that's going to go. But we're going to be beset with more problems than a science fiction movie. Between all the technologies, all of the aliens, all of the underground bases, the wild card of the human spacefaring groups, and a Jedi Council, like, the next few years are not going to be boring, but we are rolling the dice to decide the fate of Earth. And it's an exciting time to be around. So brace yourself, humanity. Here comes the mess. Love you all. Bye for now.